Irreverent, entertaining, cool. You're listening to the only radio that matters, BBS Talk Radio. You're listening to The Art of Love with your host Lucia, only on BBS Talk Radio.
Hello, it's Lucia. Do you want me? Here with The Art of Love. I'm your host and a dating and relationship expert. And you know what? I wrote that song. I did. Back in my singer-songwriter days. I'm not too thrilled about that arrangement, but I have another arrangement. Maybe one day I can transfer it onto CD and y'all can hear it. But welcome to Summer in the City. It's like 90 degrees here in April in LA. I almost melted as I walked over to the studio today. And, of course, I have another wonderful show with another great author today. It's going to be Marla Martenson. I think I know her name by now. And the book is called Excuse Me, Your Soulmate is Waiting. Excuse me. And if you're familiar with the Excuse Me series, you know that Lynn Grabhorn wrote the original first book in the series called Excuse Me, Your Life is Waiting, which is about the law of attraction, and it came out many years ago, long before The Secret, and I was familiar with that book. And so when The Secret came out, I was like, yeah, I know all this stuff. And in fact, I think it's actually a much better book, the Excuse Me, Your Life is Waiting, than The Secret. And so today we're going to find out about how to use the law of attraction to find your soulmate who is waiting somewhere. I don't have her website, but I will find out as soon as she comes on. And as usual, I have experts on, and I answer emails, and I have news items. But for now, I'm going to bring on Marla. Hello. I'll say that again. Hello.
Hello, Lucia.
Hi, it's Lucia.
Oh, Lucia. Very
Yeah.
good. It's Marla. Hi.
Great. How are you? How are you doing?
Great, thanks. Hot. It's hot over here.
That's what yeah, it's hot over here too.
Oh, my goodness.
We're in the same city, so I think.
Yeah, I know. Are you in the valley or are you over
Well,
in
right now I'm downtown.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm in Hollywood. It's like, oof.
Yeah, we should be happy we're not in the valley, actually.
Exactly.
So, you know what? I don't have a website for you.
Oh, it's just my name, www.marlamartenson.com.
Okay, great. And then we'll put the link up on the BBS radio website, obviously.
Okay, wonderful.
So why don't you tell me a bit about yourself and how you came to write this book, and then I'll get started with all the great questions I have for you.
Okay. Well, I have been in the matchmaking business for 7 years, 5 years with the company I'm at in Beverly Hills, and I decided to write the book because after so many years in the business and hearing all of the feedback and the problems people were having and the miscommunications and the stories, I thought there's so much to say, even though there's a lot of dating books out there. Mm-hmm. I thought, well, I've got a unique perspective and wanted to write the book to help people. And then I was so fortunate to get into the Excuse Me series that Hampton Roads does based on the book Excuse Me, Your Life is Waiting.
Right, I was mentioning
by Lynn
that.
Grabhorn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they're doing a series, and so I got to do the relationship one, which was great. So I think the combination of the kind of metaphysical side with all of my years of matchmaking in the industry is a unique combination. Mm-hmm. And really gives a winning, combo for people to find the right person.
Yeah, and I'm glad you wrote it, actually, because, in Lynn Grabhorn's book, she does have a chapter on relationships, but mm-hmm. I always felt like I needed to know more. It's only a few pages, and I said, I need more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was more kind of on her, perspective on it and everything. So, I thought, I could really expand on it.
Yeah, and I mean, I love her book. I read it years ago, and I have the playbook, and every time I read it, it always lifted me up and gave me hope that I can change circumstances.
Yeah, and actually I attracted this situation into my life using her book. So that was what was most amazing, because I had her book. Somebody gave it to me at work. I was carrying it around in my purse. I was using the techniques because I'd studied metaphysics since I was in my 20s. But this one, for some reason, was so simple, and I used it. And it was just unbelievable that I actually pulled in a book with "Excuse me" from using the "Excuse me, your life is waiting."
Yeah.
So I thought, you know what? I feel proud that I can teach it, and actually, it did work for me.
It's almost like it's like a cosmic joke the universe played on you.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, not only are you going to get a book deal, but you're going to do the "Excuse me"
Exactly. So what you did was you said to yourself, okay, I want to find a publisher for my book.
Well, I had the idea for a book, and one of my women clients out of Del Mar is a Pulitzer Prize nominated author of 35 books, Dr. Betty Youngs, and I just called her up one day because I had a question about, I had the idea and I had some kind of question, I forgot what it was, just to ask her about book writing, and she goes, "Oh, you have an idea for a book? Well, let me introduce you to my agent." And I was like, "Oh." So within a short time, I had a literary agent. He liked my idea and took me on, and then the book wasn't even written, but with nonfiction you don't have to write the whole book first. You can have an outline, an idea, and still get a thing. But so that it just happened. It was just meant to be. I hear how hard it is to get a
literary agent,
a book deal, everything, and for me it really fell into place.
It worked.
Yeah.
And then we have something in common also. I understand that you used to go listen to Marianne Williamson when she was first lecturing.
Yeah, when she first started out, she was pregnant with her daughter, actually. And when I first saw her speak, and I was buying her tapes. I still have them, the old cassettes.
Me too.
Wonderful. And now she's 55. I can't believe it. She was on Oprah. She looks fantastic, and she's done so amazing. I'll never get tired of hearing her speak.
No, she's such a great speaker.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know if she used notes, or maybe if she did, she probably just had outlines because she spoke so eloquently.
Yeah, unbelievable. Not even looking at notes, it seemed like. She really knows her material. I've read the Course in Miracles. It's a huge book, and you really have to read it slowly to get and go back and to get everything. And she really devoured that book and really
interpreted it
well.
Right.
Because a lot of people cannot. If you haven't been studying metaphysics, I don't think people would understand it or have patience with it. So she really explains it very simply.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's get into your book. Now that we talked about everyone else's book.
Yeah.
So what is a soulmate?
Well, a soulmate is, the definition is someone that you resonate with, someone that you really connect with, and it doesn't have to be a romantic person. It can be anybody that comes into your life, a pet, a parent, a friend, coworkers. But I talk about the romantic one, and I think soulmates come to teach us something as well. So sometimes, people think, "Oh, I found my soulmate. Everything's going to be great. And we're going to really, we do everything the same. We think the same. We get along." But not always. I think my husband's my soulmate, but we're butting heads a lot. So learning how to be patient and learning things that we need to learn.
Right.
But, I think it's also somebody that you can go through life with and spend your life with, and somebody who has your back, somebody who's there for you.
Yeah, that's what I always say. When I tell people what kind of person they should look for to marry, it's like you want someone that has your back, but that you can totally trust. Otherwise, what's the point?
Right, exactly. If I meet people and they're wondering, where, I found a number in his pocket, or what's he going, or she's got a MySpace page, or if you have to worry about where they are, or what they're doing, then that's not, just get out.
Right. Or
what's the point in that? I wouldn't even want to spend energy on that, something like that.
Yeah, it should be someone where you trust them so much that even if you find a number or they have a MySpace page or whatever, you're like, he's not up to anything.
Exactly.
And you know it 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I totally agree. So let's get to the 4 steps.
Okay.
So the first one is?
Name what you want. Name what you want. These are Lynn Grabhorn steps.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to identify, first it's identify what you don't want is the first step, actually. And that's only to just get clear, because we're always saying in our heads, humans, we're like, I don't want to be alone. I don't want to work at this job. I don't want this. It's just natural, because there's a lot of things we're trying to change the situation on. But when we do that, we actually are telling the universe, it just hears don't want, and they bring more of the don't. It brings more of the don't want. So just get clear on it, and then identify what you do want.
Oh, can I stop you there for a second? Because I want to spend a second on this. Actually, the way I heard about it, about the don't wants, it's almost like, actually, I'm jumping ahead here, but if, people say, what I don't want this, I don't want that, but the universe doesn't hear the don't. They just hear, want this, want that. It's almost like if you go to Google and you type in, if you type in no football, you're going to get football.
Football, exactly. So you just get more of that, the same.
Right.
Yeah, and so you want to say I want, but always put it in present, because if you say, oh, someday I'm going to meet my soulmate, my soulmate is coming into I'm going to have a great job. That's somewhere in the future, and the universe doesn't respond to future dates, so you want to do everything in the now. So get clear on what you do want, and then get in the feeling place. So a lot of people talk about positive thinking, and people get real frustrated because that doesn't really isn't going to bring it in. And you thinking, and think, well, I have to monitor every thought, and how this is impossible. So it's really the vibration. Since we're energy and the universe is energy, we are actually sending out a high vibration of what we want and matching the vibration in the universe and pulling it in. So that's actually a relief, because we can raise our vibration for 15 seconds. As Lynn Grabhorn says, that's all it takes is 15 seconds and to get the, pull in what we want. So you raise your vibration by thinking of something really that makes you happy, and you can actually kind of feel it. You can feel your energy kind of buzzing. She calls it getting a buzz on. And so you get in the feeling place, and then you place your affirmation, your want, right in the middle of that. When you're vibrating at a high vibration, that's when I say my affirmations. And then the fourth is expect, listen, and allow it to happen, which means detach from the outcome. You can't force it to happen, and you can't obsess about it. You just know that you've done your work, and leave the rest to the universe.
It's funny because you mentioned detachment, because the car I have now, I had downloaded a picture of it several years before I bought it. And, I wanted a Camaro.
Yeah.
So I had it up in my room for like a year, and I just had it there. And then when I decided I needed to get a new car, I went on the internet and I saw this car, and I'm like, oh, there's a Camaro.
There it is.
So I went down to the dealership, and it was the exact same color, exact same year.
Oh, man.
And I wasn't sure about the price. And so I didn't put a down payment. And I said, okay, I'll think about it. And so my friend asked me, like, well, didn't you put a down payment? What if someone else takes it? And I said, no, you know what? That's my car. And I just knew 100% that was my car. And it is my car.
Yeah. And you've got it now.
Yeah. And it was just so interesting that I just put the picture up, and it was the exact same color, exact same year. I wasn't even necessarily going for that color or that year.
Yeah.
So.
Well, today it was interesting because just the other day I thought, it's getting warm and I'd love to have some more summer dresses. And I think I don't know if I saw it in a movie or somebody was wearing a wraparound dress. And you don't see too many wraparound dresses. I thought,
Not anymore,
what?
No.
That really looks I'd really like to have a wraparound dress. But I didn't go out looking. Today we were at the Grove, my husband and I went up to this kiosk, and they had these little dresses, and they had the cutest wraparound dress, half price. $17, so I got two of them. They're so cute. And where do you find a wraparound dress?
Yeah, exactly.
It was just right there. There's my wraparound dress,
Well, that just reminds me, actually, the first time I found out about the law of attraction, I was thinking, okay, this is going to sound stupid. I needed a soup spoon to eat soup with.
Yeah.
Of course, I could go buy one, but that would be too easy.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, I need a soup spoon. So a friend of mine came in from out of town, and I went to visit him at his hotel, and it was like a 5-star hotel. And as I came out of the elevator, they always, at these 5-star hotels, they have like a table there with flowers and the house phone.
Right.
And of course, the place is always clean because it's a 5-star. But what was on the table? A soup spoon.
Wow. Somebody, maybe a waiter walked by and set it down for a second.
Yeah, isn't that weird? But I didn't take it because I thought, well, there might be a camera on me and they'll see me stealing a soup spoon.
Unbelievable.
But I thought, oh, that's interesting.
There's a soup spoon.
Yeah. So let me go back to, making your list, because I actually made the list a long time ago, and I thought about what I didn't want. Yeah. And it's interesting when you think about what you don't want, and you think back to all your relationships and everything that was wrong with each person, at least as you saw it, and then you do the opposite. So if someone didn't like their mother, I'd say, okay, I want someone that likes their mother.
Mm-hmm.
If someone, didn't, let's say one of the things was someone that's ready for a relationship, because just because you meet someone doesn't mean they're going to be ready for a relationship.
Right.
So I found it really helpful to look at what I don't want and then to say what I do want.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because it's easy to remember all those. If we're at a certain age, we've had a lot of mishaps and bad relationships, so we can really get clear on it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned, when you say, okay, feel what you want, so talk about the buzz. Is there any way to explain how you're supposed to feel this buzz or what the buzz feels like?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I can actually feel kind of in my body the vibration raise, like I do when I like to take a walk in the mornings. I live kind of in the hills, and I like to go up and down the hills, and I see all the beautiful flowers and architecture, and I'm in nature, and then I'll just think, I love animals, so if I just think of a little kitten's face, and want to kiss its lips, it sounds crazy,
yeah.
But I can just get really happy or think, wow, this is so, and I can feel something shift kind of in my body even, and that's when I know it's my vibration and I'm kind of at a buzz. You just think of something that really made you happy, that you're really in the zone, that you're really so stoked about,
Or like I take a dance class, a Latin dance class, and I love it. Whenever I come out of that, I'm totally high, naturally high, of course.
Yeah, exactly. You feel
so would that be...
That's great.
That's the feeling?
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I used to have a little 3-pound Yorkie named Daphne, and if you read the acknowledgments, she's even in it in the book. But I could just look at her laying there, and I would get so happy, just bursting. She was so damn cute. I could feel myself buzzing just looking at her. I was like, bursting with love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about the swoosh? Because I know Lynn Grabhart mentioned the swoosh. Is that the same as the buzz, or is that something else?
I don't know. You know what? I don't remember.
You don't remember the swoosh?
I have to go look that up.
I remember the swoosh because I'm like,
that sounds exciting.
Oh, yeah. I guess maybe almost like a roller coaster.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. She talks about it in the relationship chapter.
Yeah.
I just remember this one time I had this weird feeling that came over me. Maybe it was a swoosh. I don't know. I was dating this guy, and he had a daughter. She was about maybe 7, 8 at the time, and she was upset about something. And I went to talk to her, and as I kneeled down, for some reason, I don't know how to explain it. My heart started beating faster, and I just felt something inside of me. I don't know what it was. It's the only time I've ever felt it, and I almost felt like a connection with her.
Yeah.
And like I understood where she was coming from, and I'm like, I made a note of that because I'm like, that's interesting.
Interesting.
I wonder if that has something to do with creating something. I don't know. But that just comes to mind. I figured I'd share it. So that since I had you on the air.
Or when we're, as a woman, we get a crush on a guy, and that high, that like I used to, when I was in my 20s or 30s, I could lose 10 pounds in a week.
Oh, yeah, because you don't want to eat.
My adrenaline, I was like, so excited. And have such a big crush on somebody. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. And it's like, wow. And so maybe that is, the vibration is really high there. It's like, woo, even burning up fat.
Right. Well, they're saying that in the first feelings of euphoria when you first meet someone, it's like drugs going through your system.
Yeah, it's that adrenaline or oxytocin, or
Yeah, in fact, I heard one guy put it as that he said Cupid is a drug dealer.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
I know.
That's great.
And I said, he's right. And I also thought, and Cupid needs his little butt spanked.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, we're all on drugs at the beginning. And we're like, oh, my God.
But as I get older, it didn't, and with my husband, I never got that. It was just I didn't get all
very peaceful.
Hyper, no, it was just, I like him, and we were really comfortable together, and everything worked. I never had that, I didn't lose any weight on him.
And so how did you know he was your soulmate?
Well, it was interesting because I'd been dating, for 5 years. I had been married before and then divorced, so for 5 years I was single in Chicago and dating and disasters and drama. And then when I came back here, because my dad had passed away, I said, you know what, I don't care. Maybe I'm never going to be in a relationship again. That's fine. And I just started working on myself, going to Agape and my church, and meditating and just working on my career. And then when we met, it was so easy. Like I said to myself, okay, well, he might call, he might not. that's fine. And he called every day. He started introducing me as his girlfriend.
Wow.
Met my mother. Started saying everything in the we. He says, "Oh, I'm gonna maybe sell this car, and then we'll get it. Maybe keep this one." And he was talking like within weeks.
Wow.
We'll have a second car. I've got to get you a key to the apartment. And it was just like I'm looking at him like, what? Because I couldn't even get a guy to admit I was his girlfriend.
Right, right.
Let alone somebody saying all this stuff. And so I felt very happy and comfortable, and so it just worked.
And so you weren't scared off? You didn't think things were going too fast?
No, it was just like, and it was interesting because he told me after he met me, just shortly after, he says, I asked God to send me somebody special. And then my father had just passed away, so it felt like we were brought together perfectly.
Yeah.
I just felt that, like, oh, this was meant to be this way.
Right.
So yeah, and when you get older, it can go a little faster because you have
less time.
Well, and you've kind of been through all the mistakes, and you can kind of see, well, this is what I want. And when you're younger, you should take more time because there's a lot of things, drama and other things you don't look at. It's just too exciting or whatever, and you're not so. I jumped into the last marriage at 27, and it was ridiculous. I shouldn't have married him. He was very cute and French, and it was just stupid. It was just dumb. It was that we were together 7 years, but that was too long too. So
So why did you marry him then? What made you marry him?
Just stupid. I mean, I really in my 20s it was a lot of. I was a drama queen. I was codependent. I had to learn a lot. I had to go through a lot. And I was alone. Nobody, in the city. And he was so cute. And I don't know. It was just ridiculous.
You just figured you'd go for it.
Yeah, I was very impetuous. I think I remember. What was it? It was Jean-Claude Van Damme. He'd been married like 5 or 6 times. And he had said something like that. He's just like, oh, I'm very impetuous or very. I think he had that drama going on too.
Yeah, I think everyone has it until they finally get rid of it.
Yeah, so that's all right. I learned a lot, and I don't regret anything because all the mistakes I made and the learning experiences I had made me ready for my marriage now.
Right, exactly.
Do it right and to pick the right person and everything.
Exactly. So for the 4th step, you said allow it to happen. And so how do you allow it to happen? Does that mean you just believe it'll happen and just leave it alone?
Yeah, you just let you've done your work. I remember when I was waiting for the contract for my book, and they were just dragging their feet on it. I think they weren't sure. Oh, Beverly Hills Matchmaker, what is that? They're in Virginia, and they didn't know. And it was just, and then I was like, okay, stop obsessing about it, stop thinking about it. And I said my affirmations. I am a published author. And I remember in taking my walk saying that and breathing and letting it just out. I remember actually letting it go. And I felt this relief, weight off my shoulders. And I just forgot about it. And the contract came then too, very soon. And then I got John Gray's quote didn't hurt.
Yeah, I see that.
he was wonderful to give me that quote. And so, yeah, it just worked out. You have to know, you can't force it. I mean, and there's timing. The thing is that we get so impatient. I want it now. We want everything right now.
Yes, we do.
And there's a timing because I actually was shopping, my agent was shopping this book a couple years prior, or the year before, and it didn't sell. This other book, He's Just Not That Into You, that's all I knew everybody was talking about.
Right.
There's a lot of other dating books, and my book didn't sell. And I was disappointed, but I thought, well, just keep doing what I'm doing, and maybe I'll have an opportunity, maybe not. Then the next year I got the opportunity for the Excuse Me series, and I was like, thank you that I didn't get a deal then, because this is so much more exciting for me, so much more rewarding, and probably so much more successful because of the Excuse Me fans, and I can reach more people. The timing was not right that year.
Yeah, I mean, I have to tell you, when I first saw your book, that was the reason I bought it, because I saw the title. I'm like, okay, I got to have this book.
Yeah, a lot of people have told me that because they say, oh, yeah, Excuse Me, I liked Glenn Grabhorn's book, and it's the same techniques. So that was just great.
Yeah, speaking of timing, my girlfriend, she used to live in Louisiana, and she was supposed to go out with this guy. And for some reason, it just never happened. Their schedules never clicked. And then she ended up moving to L.A., and she lived here for several years. But she would go back and forth because her family still lived in Louisiana. And then one time she went back and she ran into him, and they started dating, and now they're married.
Yeah.
So
it is like I was looking for my partner out back in Chicago. He wasn't here. He was living in Hollywood.
Yeah, what are you going to do if he's not there?
Yeah, so that's why timing too. I had to be brought out here, and so I would just tell everybody, don't sweat it. I say it in my book, just timing, but don't sweat it. Don't push people. Sometimes call me crying. Some girls, oh my God, I'm ready to meet my soulmate. I want to meet the right guy. I'm so ready. How come it's not happening?
Yeah.
Well, it's because you're obsessing on it and thinking you're in the don't wants. Not wanting to be alone and in desperation, and it's pushing everything away. So we have to, as women, we have to be happy with our lives. We've got to be setting goals for ourselves, accomplishing things, and not just waiting for the rich guy to save us or the prince to ride up. We might be alone for 10 years and then find the right guy. We might find the right guy in our 50s. You just don't know. So.
Right.
So there's no rush on it, and also I found that there was great things about living alone and being single.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I knew that I wasn't always going to be single, because knowing me, I would get in a relationship again. So I thought, Marla, just enjoy this time where you can do what you want when you want. If you want to not wash the dishes one night or not make the bed or whatever you want to do it, because it's going to be different when you're in a relationship. There's good things in both situations. So enjoy every stage.
Absolutely. And then when you say listen, what are we listening for?
Oh, expect, listen, and allow it to happen. Yeah, that's what she. Well, you listen to. You can listen to inspiration when you're meditating. What do you hear? What are you supposed to be doing? Just listen, with your heart, and to get on the right path and make the right moves and
kind of follow the clues.
And we all have intuitions and inspiration, and just kind of let it happen.
It seems a lot of times people say that they met their soulmate when they went to an event that they didn't really want to go to, but they made themselves go.
Right.
Have you heard that?
Yeah. I mean, we have to get out there. I used to want to, after I'd work really hard when I was in Chicago and I was single, and I'd think, all I want to do is go home and snuggle up with my dog and watch TV or read a book. And I said, Marla, the right guy's not going to come knocking on your door. You have to get out and do things. So it is good to accept invitations, go to events. You don't have to go constantly, but you've got to be out there living your life and doing things to run into the right person.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, but I have one exception to that rule. I love to tell this story because it's so crazy, because everyone says, well, you're not going to meet anyone sitting in your living room. Well,
you might, right?
My friend, no, my friend, he did meet someone sitting in his living room because he's a producer, but he also gave piano lessons.
Yeah.
And so this woman came for piano lessons.
Ah.
And, and they formed a great friendship, and she was actually married. She ended up getting divorced.
Yeah.
And now they're together, and she's like one of the richest women in the country.
Oh,
and she just
I love that
waltzed
story.
Into his living room.
Yeah, that's fantastic. But see, he was still doing something. This was a business, so he was home,
definitely.
But he was
right. He wasn't just sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, he had done a lot of work on himself also.
Yeah, because the whole thing with the law of attraction, it doesn't mean you're sitting there like, I'm just attracting. We have to do our affirmations in our work, but then take action. Mm-hmm. The universe wants us to take action. So I could say I want a book deal. Well, I have to sit down and write that book.
Right.
I have to promote it once it's done. I have to get on talk shows and radio shows and on the internet and talk to people and do book signings and send out my emails, and it's a lot of work. It's not just I did it now, that's it.
Right.
Or I'm trying to attract something and that's it. Maybe now it's going to come like magic. I'm not Samantha Stevens.
I wish.
Push my nose, I wish. Yeah, I wish. But we have to take action as well.
And you say stop looking and start attracting. So what do you mean by that?
Looking like I know this woman who wants to find somebody so bad, but that's all she thinks about. That's every action. I've invited her to things, parties, events and things with my friends and little cocktail things, and she'll say, well, is there anybody going to be there for me? Is there anybody in my age group who's going to be there?
Right.
It's like she'll only accept things if there's going to be a possibility for her to meet a guy.
Yeah.
And it's like, was very hurtful for me, because I think, well, geez, you're my friend, don't you want to spend time with me, or maybe meet my friends, or just have a nice experience? But she's so calculated, and everything she does has to be a possibility to meet a guy. So or when if you've ever been with a single girlfriend and you're talking, and their head, if you're out at a place and their head is looking all around, they're not concentrating on who's walking in the door, who's that. It's exhausting. Yeah. And you're not present in what you're doing. You're not enjoying your life, and it's pushing things away because you're coming from a point of desperation. You're looking.
And I think when guys then meet you, if you're like that, they can sense it.
They can. Yeah. It's better. if you're just happy and cool, you'll see people will start approaching you.
Right, because
they'll come to you. You don't need to be
doing anything specific.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, except just being ready and smiling at people and
be open and interesting and the more experiences you can have in your life, learn a new language, take a trip, watch the news, find out what's going on. You'll be so much more of an interesting person to be with and
Right, exactly. And you also talk about writing a script. So give me an example of a script, and what does writing a script do?
A script, so it's like I have affirmations in my book too. If anybody, if they don't want to write their own or whatever, they're not used to, you can use those, or you can write your own. It's basically affirmations, but you can make it even kind of more powerful because you can write like a paragraph or a page of your exact scenario. Like let's say you want a new job, so you can say, I am working in a wonderful environment with people I love, you just put all the things that you want, make it into a little story.
Yeah.
I am in a wonderful position, earning great money, working with people that I love, and I give thanks for that, and
Yeah.
So and I'd say, I am a published author on the New York Times bestseller list, and make my own schedule, and I'm in perfect health, and I'm very happy, and just write whatever you want. I have some examples in my book too.
Yeah.
But it's kind of fun because you can switch it up, you can change it, and then you say it and keep it. I used to carry mine around and I'd say it every morning. And,
Good idea.
Carry it in my purse and whip it out. Sometimes if I had to wait, you're waiting in line somewhere, or I remember when my little dog was she died last April, so she was at the hospital with pneumonia, and I was like sitting there in tears, and then I pulled out one of my scripts and pulled out some metaphysical stuff and affirmations and started reading them, and kind of uplifted the situation.
Or actually these days now, you can just write it in your PDA. Or in your phone.
Yeah,
and just,
exactly.
Right.
Anywhere. That's great.
No need to carry paper around anymore.
You can record yourself and put it on your iPod.
Yeah, see? We're getting more technical here.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I guess in terms of a relationship, you could say, well, I'm dating this wonderful guy. He calls me every day, and we go to dinner all the time. And
I'm in a relationship with a wonderful man who treats me with respect, who, we have a wonderful relationship, and the qualities it's important to put those good qualities in there too.
Right, exactly. And so when you're doing your affirmations, because you always hear about affirmations, so you do yours while you're taking your walk, you said?
I love to do it in the morning when I take my walk, because I'm out there alone and I really love the scenery. And then that's when, instead of I don't listen to music when I'm exercising. I just prefer to look around at the flowers and pick up a pine cone or whatever. Like I'm in nature and I'm like in awe of how all these beautiful flowers and everything. And then I just kind of try to get my buzz up and my buzz on and say my affirmations. So then that's ready for my day. I've done my affirmations, and I even, there's been times like I got upset with my boss, and I was like, I was fuming, and I ran into the ladies' room and she closed the stall door, and I said my script.
Wow.
Because I thought, I'm not going to sit here at my desk fuming. That's not good. You know, I don't want the negativity or draw more conflict in. So I just went and did my metaphysical 5 minutes and came back, and I was like, whew, feels better now.
Relief. So when you're out walking then, so do you raise your vibration first? You make sure you have a higher vibration, and then you say your affirmation?
Yes, yeah. Then while you're vibrating, say those affirmations. And that's a powerful punch. And they work. I mean, people say, I say them, I've tried it. It does work, but we have to raise our vibration. I mean, even I think I've heard maybe Wayne Dyer say it, or somebody, how Jesus would have to do is say something one time. He could say, you're healed, you can see, because he had no doubt. You have to banish the doubt. If we could ban it, humans, we have our ego. We're always doubtful. There's something in the back of our mind. Well, I've heard about this, affirmations, this, that. Does it really work? There's something in the back of our minds not exactly believing 100% that will happen. So, but if we could get at that level where we could banish the doubt, we would only have to say an affirmation one time.
You just reminded me of something. When I was about, in grade 8, there was a guy I liked. And but he wasn't really paying any attention to me. And so for some reason on the weekend, I thought, you know what, on Monday, his friends are going to come up to me and tell me that he likes me. And for some reason, I had no doubt in my mind that was going to happen. But I had no reason to think that would ever happen.
Yeah.
And indeed, on Monday at lunch hour, he was out of town. His friends came up and said, "Oh, what's his name likes you."
Oh, yeah, I remember that. He likes you.
Yeah, I think his name was Robbie. Robbie likes you.
Yeah,
I was like, wow.
Like, yeah, I know.
So that was interesting. I had no doubt, and it worked.
Yeah, and it's kind of fun too. It's like, ooh, what can I manifest today?
It's just to the point.
I'm still working on manifesting that lottery.
Oh yes, well, aren't we all?
Playing that lotto. I've been playing for like 15 years. I never give up. I love it. It's fun.
I know. Yeah, I think if we could banish doubt, which obviously is very difficult to do.
Very difficult. I mean, I still can't, I do my best and say my affirmations, but still, I mean, I'm not a saint,
Right.
I mean, I can't. So that's why we have to keep repeating them. Keep doing them. Just go ahead and keep doing them.
And so how many different affirmations do you do during your walk?
I mostly, mine is more about, well, I always add in I'm in perfect health, because our health is the most important thing to
absolutely.
us. So I always say every cell in my body is bursting with health, and everything works properly. And then a lot of it's about writing. I would love to, write full time, and so I just confirmed, and I want to be on the New York Times bestseller list. So
Right.
I add that. So most of mine is health and career.
Mm-hmm.
But it could be anything, and then I affirm that my mom, she's such a heavy smoker, and I always affirm that she's in perfect health.
Yeah.
That she won't quit. So I just try to affirm everybody's health and pray for them.
Right. And you say it out loud?
Well, yeah, sometimes there'll be people walking by, and I'm like, ooh, I think I wear.
Okay.
You can just say it. You don't have. You can say it in your head.
Okay.
And sometimes when I meditate, like at the gym, we have this not a steam room, but a sauna, the dry heat, and I'll go in after I work out and sit there in the dry heat with kind of meditating, and I'll say my affirmations in my head in there, and then walking. I can say it aloud or not.
Yeah.
Who's around?
Right. Okay. Well, that sounds good. The sauna. I never thought of it. Yeah. In fact, let me read a few of the affirmations that you wrote. Mm-hmm. I give myself permission to be in a loving relationship. Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I am worthy of a healthy, respectful relationship. Mm-hmm. My life is drama-free. I am centered and at peace.
Because many times we're really attracted to that drama. We don't even realize it.
Yeah, until we reach the drama-free zone.
Yeah,
that's everyone's goal.
It's like, what a relief!
I'm here. Love is all around me. I choose to see the love. Mm-hmm. And love is all around you, because I think everyone concentrates on just the romantic type of love. And if you just open yourself up and see the love in the flowers and the trees and the sunsets.
Your pet, anybody who has a dog or a cat,
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you so much. I really enjoyed this interview with you.
You are welcome. That was wonderful talking to you. I loved hearing all of your stories, too.
Yes. So again, what was your website? Just your name, Marla Martenson?
Yep, www.marlamartenson, MarlaMartenson.com.
Okay,
and you can get my book on there. I've got dating tips on there. I have some radio shows, a lot of fun stuff on the site. So
great. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, and try to stay cool.
Okay, you too.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye, you too. Bye. Okay, that was Marla Martenson with Excuse Me, Your Soulmate is Waiting. So, let me do Celebrity Corner. Are we ready for Celebrity Corner? We will be in a second. We're not ready for Celebrity Corner. I'm going to kill you. How many seconds do I need to...
Just do it.
Just do it? Yeah. Celebrity Corner. No. That's my bumper. Okay. We'll do it at the end. How's that? I'll talk about it and then we'll do it. Anyways, it's about... No. Yes? Yeah. No? Go ahead.
Celebrity Corner.
Hey, I have to add some excitement here by doing a little bumper once in a while. Anyways, as I was saying, it's about Carrie Underwood, and she broke up with Chase Crawford, or he broke up with her, I don't know, through text message. That's really bad. Can we stop it with this breaking up with the text messages? That's so rude and just shows no class. Can't you at least pick up the phone? And don't email either. It's like if you've been seeing each other for a while and it's not working, then just at least pick up the phone and give them a phone call. Unless they were really, really, really bad. But that's another story. And, yeah, so that she said that happened. I was surprised that she even mentioned it. But I guess it's better to find out sooner rather than later. If someone's going to text message you that it's over, then they're obviously not the kind of person you want to be with, right? Okay, so that was the very exciting Celebrity Corner for today. And if you listened to last week's show, which I hope you did, I was talking about getting angry and the fact that I had decided that I would try to control myself. And not that I'm angry all the time. I don't want to give that impression because, as you can tell from my voice, I'm a very nice person. But, we're human, so we do get angry. And so I had made a declaration, shall we say, that no matter what happened, I was going to be calm. And I had also mentioned the parking spot thing, that I rarely get upset with the parking spot, right? So as I found out, when you make a declaration to the universe, you get tested. And because everything is just speeding up in terms of time, I mean, relationships that used to take 50 years, now you can do them in 10 years. That leaves you an extra 40 years to date 4 other guys or marry 4 other guys. And so with everything speeding up, the vibration of the world, et cetera, you're going to get tested right away once you make a declaration. So, of course, I got tested with the parking spot. What do you know? And I couldn't believe it was happening. This guy was going to take my parking spot. I was there ready to back up. And then because I didn't know the car went in neutral, I went downhill a little bit, which gave him room to jump in. See, all the work the universe had to do to make me lose my parking spot. And as he was taking it, I was like, oh, my God, he's stealing my parking spot. And at first my reaction was, what? Because, of course, the ego speaks first. And then I stopped. I went, uh-oh, I'm being tested. I can't believe it. I'm being tested. And so I just took a breath and said, okay, fine. I will let go. And I drove away, and 30 seconds later, I was fine. So because I passed the test, and I totally accepted it, I do not believe that I will be tested again with the parking spot. I'll let you know. And then I had said that no matter what happens, I'm not going to get upset. And I was tested on that, and guess what? I passed on that too. Boy, I'm really passing all my tests this week. I should get a gold star. The Buddhists, they talk about getting angry and about reactions. And I just want to read something from my notes here because I go to Buddhist class every Sunday like a good girl. It says, our reactions are more important than what is happening. You always want to respond with a peaceful mind. Instead of trying to control everything going on outside you, control your mind so that it's peaceful, and then you don't have to control everything and everyone. And I think that's very well put, because when you have these reactions, getting angry, losing your temper, etc., it's because you're trying to control what's going on outside of you. But if your mind is at peace, then no matter what happens, you can't have that reaction because there's no peace. There's no anger in your mind. It's like if you squeeze an orange, you're going to get orange juice because there's orange juice inside, right? But if it's a lemon, you're not going to get orange juice because there's no orange inside there. Does that make sense? So if something happens and you don't have anger inside you, then you can't respond with anger. And so what happened was we had a company party, a radio station party last night. And I was supposed to go with someone, and I had asked this person to go probably about 3 weeks ago when I first heard about the party. And we had discussed it, we're all excited, we're going to go, blah, blah, blah. And he was supposed to pick me up at 6. And he called around 2 and just left a message, didn't say anything, and just said, hi, how are you doing? And then he called around 4, and he still wasn't home. He was getting home, and I said, oh, are you going to be late picking me up, blah, 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 a little chit-chat. And then he called at 5 as I'm doing my hair, and he goes, you're going to be really upset. And so I knew what was coming, and I'm glad he gave me that warning because that told me to calm down, no matter what he says. I mean, I knew what he was going to say. He was going to say that he wasn't coming. And when he said, you're going to be really upset, I said, you're kidding. And he said, yeah, I'm really tired, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And I paused, and I said, wow. And then I paused again, and I accepted it in my mind, and I said, okay. And he apologized, and I said, no problem. And I was very proud of myself because he thought that I was going to get upset. Wow, there's a chopper flying by. Okay. Wonder what's going on. Is that a police chopper?
That's low.
Yeah. He just drove. Jeez. Can they fly that low? I'm going to come into the window here. Anyways, what was I? Now I forgot what I was saying. Anyway, oh, yeah, I think he thought that I was going to freak out or go, what do you mean you're not? How dare you? But I'm like, no, I'm not going there. And I felt so much better because even if I had gotten upset or said something else, he wasn't going to change his mind. So, what was I going to do? And so remember, when you make your declarations, understand you will be tested. So hopefully I won't be tested again on getting upset. And I think the more you do it, the more you don't get upset over stuff, the easier it becomes because it's like a muscle. You're exercising the muscle. And so, I always said, I know I'm going to be tested on this. I always said, if I were dating someone or if I was in a relationship with someone, and let's say I walked in on that person having sex with someone else, I always said my reaction would be, oh, excuse me, sorry to bother you, and just turn around and walk out. Now I'm going to get tested. And I don't think that I would be able to do that if I don't first learn to not react in smaller situations. Because obviously that's a big situation, seeing someone that you're with having sex with someone else. And so if you learn to exercise that muscle with a smaller weight, right, then you can move up to the big leagues, to the big weights. And then when it does happen, you can react that way. And they'll go, wow, what was that? So that is my speech for today. And, well, I think it's time to say goodbye. M-I-C-K-E-Y. Thank you so much for joining me. Remember, my website is theartoflove.net. I will see you next week where I will have, of course, another great author. And remember, love inspires, empowers, uplifts, and enlightens.
You're listening to The Art of Love with your host, Lucia, only on BBS Talk Radio.
This woman